Stop it.
All I hear is harmonica and munching.
Chewing. Yeah. I'm eating some cashews. Why? Why are you telling me to stop it, Linz? Well, you don't like hearing people chew
sound
into a microphone? Yeah, that's one of the more annoying sounds, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called misophonia, and I think I have it. If I hear it,
Where you hate listening to people chew?
yeah,
Wait, that's
Seriously?
a condition?
yeah, it's an actual thing. It's called misophonia.
And you have it?
I think so.
Misophonia.
Yeah. Oh, misophonia.
Me chewing long time.
Can you
I want to
see this in
rip.
the back? I have misophonia.
I want to rip the teeth out of people that do it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just want to take their teeth.
Then you're a dick, dude. You got to
And
face
just
facts.
tell them-
You're
you just gotta
just
tell
a huge
them,
dick if you don't like
please
the sound
stop.
of people chewing. That's a you
Just
thing.
stop
That's what I
eating.
tell people when I'm doing something and it's
Yeah.
annoying them. That's a you thing. If you got misophonia, me love you long time. That's a you thing.
Yeah.
That sounds so
What
fake.
about-
It's like uromycetitis. Remember that
Yeah.
from Seinfeld?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a mycetitis. How are you with people that do this then? Because you don't drink. By the way, welcome to the show. My name is Dean. That is Ryan Lindley.
Oh, yeah.
And Scott Trades. Scotty Mack joins us from the Hot Wallet podcast. We're going to talk a little business in a minute. Apparently, the pandemic's back. Big time, I guess. So I hear emergency rooms. I guess we're boycotting Tim Hortons today. That'll be a lot of fun. Whatever. Just kind of fucking rounding the bases. But I just found out that you don't like hearing people chew. How are you with this?
That doesn't bother me. Slurping doesn't bother me. That bothers me.
This-
That at the end. Oh, that
Finisher.
exasperated finish of the.
What are you talking about?
the-
This one, all I did was slurp. Like dude.
No,
I
no,
got
you didn't.
coffee in my hand. All I did was take a drink like this.
That it right there, right there.
He hates
Yeah.
the sound of other people being refreshed.
That is the worst.
I've got a real
You know what?
refreshment noise issue.
If you showed up on the doorstep in 120-degree heat.
Yeah.
And we're so parched that you were minutes from dying, and you took a drink and you made that sound afterwards, I would totally understand, but still probably kick you in the mouth.
What about that
For
one?
doing it.
What about that burp? That
Yeah,
that celebratory I'm refreshed
Those are good.
burp.
Those are good.
So
I'm
you
good
don't
with
have
Do you have refreshophonia? Is that what that
Yeah.
is? Oh, I can't deal with that?
Yeah.
It's a thing.
He's got
Yeah.
refreshophonia. He love you long time.
I'm telling you, I'll put a Twitter poll out to see how many people are the same as me, because you're the fucking weirdo.
I dare you. I dare you to put out a tweet that says,
I'm
am
doing
I
it.
weird for having a major phobia of listening to people chew? Because you just described a phobia.
I didn't say a
Only
phobia.
Portion is the phobia, like what do they call it? Paranoia. That's a phobia. You're supposed to, or give me another phobia. The EAs. You got an EA.
Scared of spiders.
Mesothelioma. You got that too.
Arachnophobia?
Arachnophobia. Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
become part of every class action lawsuit on CNN because of it. I'm going to ask, am I weird for hating the sound of another person chewing? I'm
Yeah,
just going
you
to put
are
yes or no. Yes or
Dude,
no.
I worked with this dude, and a nice guy. Doesn't have to say his name, and he would get so aggressive if I would have a bite of something and then go on the air. He would throw his headphones. He'd get mad and throw his headphones. That's you.
Wow.
That's you. But that's
I didn't throw my
that's a you
headphones.
thing. Yeah. You knew you didn't throw your headphones. But what I'm saying is that you're very aggro about my chewing some cashew nuts, and then you just said you had mesothelioma or something like that.
No.
That's what I heard.
I was trying to tell you the name of what it was. I don't know how you're supposed to say I hate the sound of someone fucking chewing professionally. Yeah. Anyway,
You just nailed it.
I
Anyway, welcome to the show.
put the tweet out. Go vote on it if you're on my Twitter, and you'll see how wrong you are, Blundell.
Okay. Stoney's like, okay, let's just get to it. Stoney's like, those are both annoying things. Yeah, I get it. Chewing, slurping, and that last sound. This one? No one likes that one? Do you guys have any like annoying things that you do when you eat? Like, where you're around your spouse or your wife, and they're like, "Hey, you want to fucking stop that?" Or like they got to get up from the table because they cannot listen to you chew. Or
I've had someone tell me that they hate that I'll bite the fork instead of just biting the food. Sometimes I'll bite the fork. And I'm trying to take
sound.
it off.
Yeah, you're a fork biter.
Sometimes, yeah. Depends if it's real good.
Oh, really? Like, so it's a thing for you where it's like if I'm really enjoying it, it's almost like orgasmic, and I have to bite down on the fucking metal fork.
That's like 10 levels too high, but just if it's real good, sometimes I want to make sure I get it all.
Oh, yeah.
I don't trust my lips to do it.
No, I don't either. A quick question: how do we eat chicken wings here? Do we eat them like corn on the cob, or are you one of those guys that pushes the meat down and then sucks the meat off? Are you a meat sucker, or are you a wing chewer?
Totally corn on the cob. But I hate when my teeth touch the bone because I have bonophobia.
Chicken bonophobia? That just means you're not a pussy. That's what that means. Is it? Linz is a pussy. He's a food sound pussy.
No, it's not. It's you're telling me you don't find that ignorant? You don't find that to be ignorant?
Ignorant means not knowing.
Yeah. No, I'm very aware of it. Yeah.
They're not aware of how fucking disgusting they're being. That's the ignorance in it.
I think Dean's pretty aware.
I would say so. Yeah. How are you guys? Nice to see you. Scotty Trades joins us at Scott Trades. You can find him on Twitter. Hot Wallet is the name of his podcast. We're going to talk a little bit of finances. We got Elon Musk's stat. Elon Musk's dad fucks, by the way, almost as much, maybe more than Elon fucks. And we'll get to that because it's a weird story. Ryan's here. We're going to talk a little Tim Hortons camp day, which apparently is no camp day or the pandemic's raging. Emergency. By the way, shocker. Emergency rooms around the province are closing over the next little while. Good time to have a pandemic, isn't it? And we're going to get into do we mask, the boosters, all that stuff a little bit today, but it's going to be a little different because I'm not going to yell at anybody for not getting vaccinated because I don't give a fuck about those people. So anyway, welcome to the program. Nice way to start it. Scott, how's the markets today? Did we interrupt you? I know you were pretty encouraged this morning by your day's work as someone who's a day trader, stockmarketmentor.com at Scott Trades. A guy who knows the system, a guy who's excited for big ups and big downs, a guy who likes to roll the dice. How are the markets today? Where'd we end up?
Yeah, I mean, the markets have been brutal all year, as you know, but today was a little bit of a bounce day in the market. Yesterday, we had core inflation numbers come out of the U.S., their CPI numbers. Mm-hmm. And then we saw the Bank of Canada react to those CPI numbers by doing a 100 basis points or 1 full percentage point interest rate increase.
Yeah.
And the Bank of Canada is actually front running what they believe the U.S. will do as well. And so what the U.S. chicken bonophobia, love it. So what the percentage of people think that the U.S. is going to do is also a 1% interest rate increase when the Federal Reserve has their meeting. And so markets kind of reacting to that. We had a consumer price index yesterday. Today we get producer price index numbers and jobs numbers. And so the jobs numbers were a little light, a little higher in the unemployment area. And so the market is kind of testing the Federal Reserve right now to see how far they'll go in terms of jacking up interest rates to try and crush demand and bring prices down. And the only tools they really have, as we've talked about before, is interest rates. The higher the interest rate, the more everything is more expensive. Mm-hmm. And inflation, as you guys know, affects everybody. And so it's a political mission right now from the U.S. Democrats to try and save any sort of midterm election by tamping down inflation and saying, look, we got the job done. Things are cheap now, even though things are really hard. So what may happen going forward is they may end up triggering a little bit of a recession because they are, essentially raising interest rates into an economy that's slowing down. So markets trying to figure out what the next move is. And the last couple of weeks have been a lot of sideways chop and slop.
Okay, I got a question for you too, and I appreciate that because I think everybody should be interested in where the markets are and how the economy is and all that shit. Which is why I asked you about it at the start of the show. Of course, after I made a bunch of really weird noises and we talked about food phobia. But what I wanted to ask you is, like, I see the job numbers are bad, unemployment's not great, unemployment went up. But I also see, and we're going to tie this into the emergency room shit, but I also see. Like people begging laborers to come and work. People begging, like there's help wanted signs fucking everywhere. I was talking to my son about it. He's like, I hate my job. I go, oh, just go fucking walk down the street. Someone will hire you. Like we're literally in that kind of economy now. But why is unemployment so high then if every fucking time I turn around there's a help wanted sign and people are going, hey, you want to do some labor? You want to come work for me? You want to come? Because no one wants to work. What, are we? Did we serve ourselves into laziness? Like what the fuck is going on?
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that wages haven't really gone up. So everything is more expensive around us, but the price that employers are paying their workers is pretty much the same or less because they are also feeling the crunch.
Oh,
and
like
so,
we know we're getting fucked now. Like it's plainly simple, and everybody's like, "Nah, I'm not letting you fuck me. I'd rather be poor."
yeah, exactly. And so what's happening now? Like if core inflation is 9%. That basically means unless you, as you're working, got a 9% raise this year, you are poorer than you were this time last year. And so, I can't think of any employers that are looking to spend more money right now to try and attract people. That may happen, when things really start to slow down. But inflation is killing everything. And unfortunately, wages haven't risen fast enough for workers to really be excited about going back to work.
Well, isn't that part of the problem too? Like, Linz, it's something that you touched on, and we're going to talk about it today. Whereas it's the emergency room situation across this country. Like, if you watched over the past, couple of weeks, maybe a week, they had all the premiers get together, all the fucking losers from these conservative provinces, like, just come to the table. We need money. We got to open up emergency rooms. And Doug Ford, that fat fuck, standing there going, well, we need a bunch of money. You didn't give us any money. I need money. And meanwhile, he stole basically $4.5 billion from the federal government for his re-election campaign and to build a fucking highway. But, I don't want to get into politics. And I definitely don't want to talk about Doug Ford because he's a trigger for me, like a legitimate trigger. When I see his fucking head on TV, I go crazy. I don't want to get violent. I don't want to say anything untowards. I don't want to make mention of what I would do to him in a dark alley if I got him alone, because I know a lot of people feel that way. And I'm trying to have a nice Thursday. Like I'm trying to have a wonderful Thursday. But
with your
one of the things we were talking about is like, hey, we know we've got a healthcare problem. Like, I don't know if anybody knows this, and I know I don't know if it's the same in the States because it's private. But Linz, one of the things we were talking about is like they're closing emergency rooms in major centers, smaller centers, towns, cities across the fucking country because there's no one there to staff them, right?
Yeah.
So is it the same reasoning? Is it like, hey, listen, we're not getting paid. Maybe we're sick. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe we're burnt out. Is that the confluence of all the things that we're kind of talking about? Because Scott's kind of touching on it in terms of jobless numbers and like, do we have a shortage of medical professionals? What's going on?
Yeah, we do. We have a dire shortage and nobody coming into the profession either. So just this past long weekend, we saw Peel Memorial Urgent Care closed at night. One of the major hubs in the GTA, one of their hospitals was closed.
It's one of the biggest in the province, right? One of the biggest in the country.
Yep, for lack of staff. We have an entire healthcare system, which is, I believe it's called South Bruce or Grey Bruce. I can't remember the ones that are over like Seaforth, Wingham, Mount Forest area. Mount Forest is closed on Saturdays and Sundays now from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. So don't have a heart attack in that time. Clinton Hospital is closed on they closed June or July 1st at night. And they open 8 to 2 on the Tuesday after the long weekend.
Hold it, but what the fuck happens if someone
they have to go to
if someone amputates their leg in a power auger?
I guess you're going to London, or you're going to the next major trauma center, which could be, and some of these they were saying was up to between 20 and 60 minutes away. Even with an ambulance with lights and siren going, hope you make it. Yeah. Seaforth Hospital, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, they're only open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wingham, Listowel, and Chesley hospitals also have reduced hours on the weekends. The interesting thing about this, because you talked about the funding thing, and like one in five healthcare workers in this province is over the age of 50. So I'm guessing the last 2.5 years to somebody that's been in the healthcare system that is over the age of 50 is probably just they've had enough and they said, fuck it, I'm out. I'll go work at Walmart if I want to get treated like shit, and I don't have to worry about the stress and the burnout. Their wages were capped by the provincial government. There's no foreseeable raises. There's no incentive for them to stay. There's no incentive for somebody coming into nursing. It's literally a dying industry where we can't afford to let people die out in that industry. All the while, and I know you don't want to get into politics.
Go ahead.
30 cabinet ministers were appointed when Doug Ford was elected, and 43 more parliamentary assistants were appointed as well, which gives them a raise from their $116,000 a year salary. They get a raise when you get those little job titles, right? Like his nephew is now the cultural minister because
Tons of fun.
He's got all that experience, right? So that means there's 83 conservative MPPs, like members of provincial parliament. 73 of them. 73 out of 83 have a special designation, which makes them entitled to that raise of, I believe it's around $15,000 or $16,000 more on top of their $116,000 a year. So only 10 of them didn't get the raise. So, but we can't afford to keep our nurses. So,
you're not talking about like a 4%, like keeping up with inflation raise. You're talking about like these MPs got like $40,000-$50,000 raises on $116,000 salaries.
Yeah, some of them did. Some of them, like remember what's her name? The one from Eastern Ontario, where she ended up taking an extra $50,000 out of like a slush fund. Lisa McLeod.
Her blood type is Crown Royal, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. Her blood type is Crown Royal, and she is currently in a hospital, literally trying to get off of, 4 substances because her life is shit. Yeah, she ran for re-election, won, and as soon as she won re-election, she's like, oh, thank God, I am so fucked up. I got to go to the hospital and go to rehab. I am a fucking mess. I have been for a long time. This is the chick that went after Eugene Melnick. You remember when she went after Eugene? She's like, you're a fucking piece of shit. She's like, Eugene's like right before he died. Yeah. She was so wasted. It was at like some tent party. She's just a human piece of garbage. But anyway, sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. So just another...
I just had to add some vitriol to your excellent explanation because it's fun.
It is really fun. That's the salt and pepper to the meat. I like it.
Like what we do.
So what the interesting part about the arguments that are coming back and forth, like these, the stats that I'm giving you are coming from hospital administrators, they're coming from union people, they're coming from frontline healthcare workers. The other side, the conservatives and the anti-vax crowd are saying, you should rehire all those unvaccinated nurses. There's so many unvaccinated nurses. That entire healthcare system. Now I want you to guess. Okay, I'm going to let you guess. That entire healthcare system where I'm Mount Forest, Clinton, Seaforth, Wingham, Listowel, Chelsea, that entire area of the province is under one umbrella, and they did have a layoff problem with vaccination requirements. Do you know how many nurses they laid off?
No, do you need a drum roll? Because I think this is going to be funny.
I'll give you we'll start with it can fit on one hand.
Is it more than 50?
Negative. It can fit on one hand.
Okay, one hand, then I can figure this one out. Is it 5?
No.
Scotty, you want to take a guess? You want to go to the next number? 4?
4?
Yeah. No.
3?
Is it 3? No.
No.
Getting closer to
getting close.
Scotty, you want to
2?
2?
No.
Oh,
one.
Was there?
One nurse out of the entire
quit / got fired because she didn't want to get vaccinated, and all the fucking vaccine losers are out there going, it's because you're not letting them work. And one nurse quit.
One nurse in that entire Bruce Health County system. One nurse was let go of her position, or laid off. Without pay. Can probably come back if she got vaccinated. But she's a very important piece to the puzzle of the Ontario healthcare system, apparently, because that's the reason why our hospitals are crumbling, is not because Doug Ford took $4 billion from the feds and we don't know where it went.
Yeah.
It's because
you like literally siphon money out of healthcare for his stupid fucking highway.
Yeah. No, it's because Maureen didn't get a booster.
Is that who it was? It was Maureen.
It was Maureen.
It's always Maureen, Scotty. Did you
always
ever
causing
notice that?
shit.
There's always a fucking Maureen. Fly in the fucking medical ointment.
Yep.
Always Maureen.
Out there smoking her darts and talking her anti-vax points. I'm telling you, it's Maureen every time. So yeah, so that's where we are with hospitals right now. And like, I mean, it's so dangerous that
don't get sick for fuck's sakes.
God,
don't. You
don't. And we're in the busiest time of the year when it comes to accidents. You know, people get fucking chopping their fingers off, doing fucking falling from stupid places, from taking selfies, like stupid shit, car accidents. You're literally now in jeopardy if you and just think about the people that live in those communities. They're usually older, so they're more prone, more susceptible to needing some sort of urgent care.
Dumber,
now they're not going to have it.
Probably too. A lot of those people that live in it's just a fact. Some of the people that live in like rural centers. Scott, you know this, right? Yeah. It's a fact. I mean, the cognitively delayed live in further away from cities. Is what happens. So you're going to have more injuries where guys like light themselves on fire trying to have a smoke as they fill up their gas can. That kind of stuff.
Fireworks in the face.
And it's not just it's not just Western Ontario. It's Eastern Ontario. Perth and Smith Falls during the long weekend. In spite of our best efforts to preserve care at the Perth Emergency Department, COVID-19 has placed yet another burden on our fragile staffing situation. And an outbreak took them out. And that's Perth and Smith Falls District Hospital. That's a huge hospital, like for that area that it serves. Right. That hospital is integral. So they were closing their emergency department on Saturday of the long weekend at 7 a.m.
They closed it at 7 a.m. on Saturday.
7 a.m. on Saturday morning because they had no staff. There was nobody there. They couldn't open the door because there was nobody there to do anything.
How is there not like a stopgap? How are they not calling someone? Hey, Ottawa, we need like one doctor. Come on over. Like
it's not doctors either. It's nurses.
There's no plan.
The last plan was the military, if you remember. I don't know if that's an option now for this.
LTC, like the last plan was for LTC, where they brought it, for long-term care. A disaster. I mean, and let's fucking talk about the timing of the fact that we don't have nurses that want to work. We don't have doctors who want to work. What was the average age of the medical professional in this province? What did you say it was?
Over 50.
Over 50. Burnt the fuck out from the last 2 years of fighting douchebags and losers that are like, I got access to my body. Fuck you. You're putting an injectable poison in my child's brain. Fuck you. Like, they're tired. Right. And then on top of it, they're not getting paid. And then, you rewind to when Doug Ford had his guys beat the living shit out of those two nurses. It's like, and then those two nurses are standing there going, hey, listen, it would be really nice if you just, if you didn't lock our wages, if you let us, to keep up with inflation, it would just be really nice if you paid us a fair wage. And for their efforts, Doug Ford had his douchebag security dicks actually beat the shit out of two nurses on the sidewalk in front of a rally. Like, There's no hero in this business. There's no hero in this business other than the people that are getting fucked. But you're talking about shutting down emergency rooms across the province, emergency rooms, which traditionally are packed anyway. Like in non-pandemic times. And yesterday, what was the number in the wastewater? It was like 16,000 positive results. Like the wastewater thing, it says basically we're back in the middle of a pandemic and we've got this new Omicron variant that's literally fisting people right now. And we don't have anybody to work in emergency rooms. Like we don't have anybody in these hospitals.
Crazy. That's crazy. Alberta isn't much better either. Like I remember Alberta doctors literally leaving Alberta, going literally anywhere else because the government was so hostile towards doctors, nurses, and stuff like that. And it doesn't make sense to me. They were our lifeblood. They're the reason that we're able to get through the pandemic. It was a rough ride for everyone, but I don't think it was rougher for anyone other than doctors and nurses. And to see governments mistreat them is like, it hurts as a Canadian. It hurts to see, it doesn't matter what party you're in, you're still Canadian and you're still relying on our healthcare system. We put so much weight on our healthcare system and we're so proud of our healthcare system and we wave our flag. Look, Canada, free healthcare, isn't it great here? And to hear these stories of people being mistreated by the government who funds the healthcare, it's just soul crushing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of blame is getting shifted towards family doctors as well from the other side, saying that, well, because family doctors aren't seeing their patients in a timely manner or in person at all, those cases are getting overflown into our emergency rooms. Which there's some debate on if that's the actual case or not, because there's not a whole lot of doctors that aren't back to at least a quasi normal practice. So I don't know where the answer is for that, but I do know that you're right. We've had the staffing problem since prior, like 10 years now. We've been at a minimum screaming for, we don't have enough staff. Hospital wait times, hallway medicine. Look at the guy that was in Wyerton. There's a guy in Wyerton right now sitting with a broken leg since the weekend. 75-year-old man fell off his bike in Wyerton and has not seen a surgeon to have his leg repaired, laying in a hospital bed in a makeshift room with one light above him and a plastic curtain around him with a broken leg and no,
Thursday.
Yeah, this happened on Sunday, and he's 75 years old and there's nobody to do it. There's nobody to do that. It was literally a story I was reading just before we came on the air today. So we're beyond crisis mode. We were beyond crisis mode prior to the pandemic when it came to hallway medicine, code zeros with no ambulances available in our cities. That's a municipal downloading problem since we downloaded that to the municipalities. Like, imagine you were the city of Hamilton per se. I just happen to know this number, and the annual budget for ambulances that we used to get, or the cost was $18 million a year to run EMS. And that was funded by the Ministry of Health Ontario at the time. So when they downloaded it to the cities, they said, we're going to download the service and the operation to you, but we're going to give you a subsidy so that you can run it. So how much does it cost you, Hamilton? And Hamilton says, well, it cost us $18 million last year. No problem. Here's $14 million. Good luck. And they did this to every single city in the province. And that's your conservative government doing that, and not propping up the libs, because the libs didn't do anything to fucking fix it. Mm-hmm. So here we are, and it was a snowball effect from that, and then we got into a pandemic, and it's like trying to put out an inferno that was already like burnt half to the ground. What are you going to do? So here we are.
There are watermarks over the past few years where, I don't know about you guys, and I don't want to get all fucking serious, but I think it's probably time we get all fucking serious about this. But there are watermarks over the past few years, or posts that we've motored past that everybody's like, is this really happening here? Like, are we on this? It's like being on a train, right? And you're passing all these terrible signs, and as you pass these signs, you're like, normally what we would normally do is we'd stop the train, get off, and go, okay, let's kind of take a break here. Let's kind of fix what's going on. Let's figure out what's happening. And it's almost like whoever's driving the train in Ontario, it's Doug Ford, who literally sat there in a press conference with all these premiers begging for more money from the federal government. Now, I am no Justin Trudeau fan. I think we all have ascertained that. I'm the guy that wrote the article that said, quote, Justin Trudeau is a national embarrassment a little while ago. Like, I get it. I understand it. And they're putting this at his feet to embarrass him. So, like, effectively, the shortage that we've seen is caused by provincial and municipal politicians that traditionally are conservative in a lot of these centers and in these provinces, right? Ontario, correct. Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Say what you like about Horgan in British Columbia. I don't know anything about the guy, but apparently he's well liked and he's done a pretty decent job. But it is literally a political thing that they're using to sewer en masse, if you will, the federal Liberal Conservative Party. They are putting all of this at the feet. Now, I can tell you this, in Saskatchewan, Scott Moe has absconded with a bunch of money, not personally, but he's taken some of the money that province uses to prop up healthcare, and he's given it to other people. He's also sucked money out of mental health, sucked money out of hospitals and their budgets. Same thing in Alberta with Jason Kenney. We know that, and you guys are gonna fucking race for the bottom with Danielle Smith, who had like Theo Fleury on a podcast today. Fuck That was the best. And then you fast forward over Manitoba, same thing. The woman that runs Manitoba is literally a piece of shit, like the rest of these guys. And then you fast forward to Doug Ford. Doug Ford has taken billions of that federal pandemic money, which was supposed to keep us healthy, which he didn't. And he was supposed to drill that into healthcare and infrastructure, and none of that happened. Like, absolutely none of that happened. And so what they do is they turn this into a political thing, and they go, hey, look, this isn't our fault. We need more money from the federal government. And then they make him look like an asshole. So I could be wrong. I would love your opinion, but does that not what this looks like? It just looks like a fucking massive hit job, and they're playing with the lives in the emergency healthcare rooms in this province just to be assholes. Does that not what it feels like?
Yeah, and what they did in this premier's conference that they had, it was funny. Along the same lines, a prime minister has never, ever attended one of these because it's not a prime minister's meeting. It's a minister's meeting. It's a Ontario premier's meeting.
Yeah,
and they literally went to the press to try and make it look like, well, Justin Trudeau's just ignoring us. We're trying to get some things done. And Trudeau, rightfully so. Again, I'm the same as you. I'm not a fan of him at all. But broken clock is right twice a day. He went to the press and said, we don't go to these meetings. They're premier's meetings. I'm not a premier. I'm the prime minister. This is not for me. So
he's like, come to the table. He's come to the table. He's
like,
dude, I'm not invited. Like,
this is not a table that I've ever been invited to. Nobody in the history of prime ministering has been fucking invited to this table. Why would I just show up?
Ford's the best at that too. Remember when he was running for office and he was like, "Come on down to my rally," and then you go there and he's like, "Fucking get out of here! You're not allowed."
Yeah. Why are you here? Yeah, exactly. So what they're asking for is apparently, I guess, the federal health transfer to the provinces is in and around 23%, I believe, and they're asking for 35%. The increase to 35%. Like, where does that money come from? I don't know where it comes from. We apparently, during the pandemic alone, I think the figure that I heard on the radio yesterday was the feds had downloaded $76 billion in relief funds to the provinces already. And the Auditor General is having a real hard time figuring out where all that money went.
Well,
and now they're asking for an egregious 13% increase?
Yeah.
Like, come on. You know, like it's exactly what you're saying. It's positioning to make to lay it at the feet of the just like they did with the convoy. Oh, just don't do anything about it. Let the prime minister deal with it. Let the dirt be on his hands. And the same thing's happening with your fucking healthcare in this.
Dude, it's like the healthcare convoy. That's what this is.
This is exactly it. It's the same tactic anyway.
Yeah.
So was that all that money, that $76 billion, that was all for healthcare across the country?
Well, it was COVID relief, we'll say. So healthcare, prevention, precaution, testing that never fucking happened. Lots of things that the money was intended for.
That's the rub, dude. That's the rub here.
Yeah.
Is that all these guys that are begging for more money for healthcare don't even believe the fucking COVID pandemic exists anymore.
Yeah.
Like well, why are we being overrun and why are we shutting down hospitals and why are people sicker than ever then if you don't believe it's happening, right? And then it was like, well, we're just going to ignore it. We're just going to keep everything open and fuck you, right? That's what happens. That happens in Toronto. It's like, yeah, like fuck you. And so they're like, but we're dying, and so they hold these press conferences and they're like, we got no money. All our people are dying. We can't open up the fucking hospitals. Help. And we're like, okay, well, first of all, you got to admit that science works. Right? Like, if that's the goal, you want to admit that science works. And you got to admit why you want that money, because hospitals are being overrun with COVID patients. ICU is at an all-time high, or will be in the next 2-3 weeks as we bear that out. I was just saw an Immigrant tweet. He's like, 20,000 cases today, easy, right? Yep. But it's like it's Orwellian at its finest. And the fucking amazing part is that there are so many stupid people that follow these cats. They're like, yeah, we need more money for the government. That won't look beneath the sheets, that won't do the digging or the reading that you did or that we do, right? And from a financial perspective, Scott, listen, if you're an investment guy, which you are, stockmarketmentor.com, @ScottTrades, Hot Wallet is the name of the podcast. Download it anywhere you get it. If you gave someone $76 billion, okay, and you gave it to them and you said, here's $76 billion that you've asked for because we want to help you help other people. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. This is really great. This is awesome. And then 2 years later, they come back and not only do they not have $76 billion that you left them, but what you gave it to them for, they didn't use it for, and things are significantly worse, businesses are closing, people are unemployed, and they're not paying people with that money. As a financial guy, how do you justify giving them more?
That's just a bad trade right there, because there's no ROI. There's no return on the investment, right. Especially if that government that's getting the money is turning around and bashing the people who gave them the money. You know, like in Alberta.
And blaming it on you.
Yeah, Jason Kenney bashed Justin Trudeau every 5 seconds. And then I just looked up, in 2021, they were trying to do pay cuts for Alberta healthcare workers. So while we're still in the pandemic, the government was trying to take money away, even though they'd received a giant amount of money from the federal government. And here we are now. No one knows where that money went, right? Like can you get any more corrupt?
No, you can't.
I don't think so.
And it doesn't matter what your political leaning is. All you have to do is be able to do simple math, right? I mean,
follow the money. What happened to the money? You know,
and that's
the question. Doesn't matter what party you're in.
I don't want to come across as though we're towing the line of misinformation on that $4 billion in Alberta. That actually $3.62 billion of that was actually accounted for in a ledger, but no footnotes were kind of. It's one of those. It's like we know generally where it went, but the Auditor General went. But you're not explaining where you spent the money. You're saying it was for, it'd be like grabbing the book and saying, okay, we need a detailed expense report, Dean, from your business meeting all last week. Why did you spend $25,000? And it just said hotel and lunch. And that's pretty much what it's at now. So the Conservatives are trying to defend it, saying, "Oh, it's right here in the ledger," and they're like, "Yeah, but it doesn't have the details." So I don't want to say that we're coming. They know where $3.62 billion of it kind of is, but until they show you the receipts, the proof is yet to be provided. So I just in Ontario, I don't know what happened to that $4 billion. That one is still a mystery. The Auditor General said there was a lot of anomalies in that reporting as well. So it's like you say, it's a hot potato between the two, and they're just going to keep going back to that well of it's Justin's fault. Justin Trudeau is the reason why we're broke. Justin Trudeau is the reason why we have. Yeah, it's the reason why our gas price is high.
I got a zit right here on my chin.
I stubbed my toe,
and I'm like, I woke up this morning, and I'm like, holy shit, a zit! I'm almost 50, and I'm like, fucking Trudeau. Right?
Yeah, and it kills me. Like you said too about you have to accept the fact that you're asking for scientific solutions here while you deny the science. You're not asking for witch doctors and fucking Dr. Malone clinics and Joe Rogan podcasts. You're asking for actual healthcare. Why are you doing that while you're boosting and holding up the assholes that are rallying against it, saying that the unvaccinated nurse Maureen is the reason why the entire fucking system is crumbling?
Because it's a grift. Like, I think they want. Here's the thing. This is a question I would have for you guys. This is a serious question. Do you think they're trying to destroy, these conservative provincial governments are trying to destroy healthcare so that they can usher in private healthcare?
100%. 100%. That's exactly what they did in the States. It's exactly what they do in the States every single time. They get it to the point where it is no longer viable, and they say, we don't have the money. The feds won't give us any more money. I guess we have to privatize it. Yeah, I guess somebody's going to have to come in and privatize it.
Going to have fees for blood work. We're going to have fees for like toenail surgery.
Private ambulances. You're going to have a kid out of high school and making $14 an hour to come save your grandmother when she's having a cardiac arrest.
We're going the PSW route for healthcare now, right? Yeah. That's what the goal is. Like, let's see if we can hire a whole bunch of people from other countries who are wholly unqualified and just want to get into that's a major problem in this country. It's like, and I've got no issues with people that come from other countries to have gainful employment and a decent life in this country. But if you talk to Dr. Vivian Stamatopoulos, she'll go through this whole thing. It's like the debasing of and the basing of the entire healthcare system in this country, province by province, so that they can have a cheaper solution, bring in government agencies at their friend zone, or, healthcare agencies and healthcare suppliers at their friend zone, so that they can fuck us even harder.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the most amazing part to me. And I was thinking about it today. I thought, Jesus Christ, there's like a game. It's got to be a game. Like, this is because I'm watching Ford and the rest of these guys like game us, game you, lie about where they're at, lie about this, all not being their fault. And it is all their fault, all of it. And then they say, listen, we got no money to help people during the pandemic. Meanwhile, they're like, Don't worry about masks. Don't even worry about vaccines. Who gives a fuck? Fuck the mandates. We don't care. This isn't even really happening. You got to get back to work, everybody. You got to get back to work. Meanwhile, they're continually drilling the education and the healthcare system in this country and mental health in this country, province by province, crying poor, and then focusing that attention on the federal government. It is fucking gross to watch.
Yeah.
In
if
February,
you wonder why I fucking hate politicians, this is a wonderful example. Go ahead, Scotty.
Sorry to cut you off, buddy.
No.
I was just going to say, in February, a headline came out that Jason Kenney in Alberta was expanding private for-profit services in Alberta's healthcare system. Basically, the budget would double the amount of private surgeries in Alberta. So this isn't something that is like might happen one day. This is stuff that's happening right now. This year, this is happening where
It's
Alberta
happening here
is
as well.
doing double the amount of private surgeries. And so I think that governments who want to privatize healthcare, I'm not going to name any parties because there's multiple, they're going to use any excuse they can, to Dean's point, to try and make normal healthcare so unbearable for the regular person. There's no reason why you should have to wait 3 hours in the emergency room to see someone. But those governments are going to do what they can to make it so painful to go to the hospital that you'll be willing to pay to see a doctor faster. Oh, okay, I got to pay a monthly subscription or whatever, a fee. Yeah, it's fine. It cuts 2 hours out of my day every time I need to go. Like, of course that's going to happen.
Yeah, we've done express line incentives for a lot of things, and the privatization that they want to do isn't technically on, the onus isn't on you or me. It's still going to be federally or provincially funded. It's just going to be because they're getting it at a bulk rate. They're going to take the Fed download and they're going to disperse it as, I guess, economically as they can, which means it's going to cut into our services, right? They don't have, like, do you remember Christine Elliott in one of the last COVID conferences that they had, because they don't do them anymore because we pretend it doesn't happen.
She looked like a 10-day-old balloon, by the way. She had
Stood
the face
up.
of a 10-day-old balloon, that woman.
She stood up in front of cameras and live microphones and literally said, room for private healthcare. Like, we're making, room. And it's one of the ideas in the agenda, which the agenda you haven't seen because we're not allowed to see it because they've made it all private. Their mandates are private. They will not show us what their plans are. And the plan is to destroy healthcare to the point where it is so battered and bruised it can't be resuscitated, and the only way to do it is to replace it with another model, and that model is privatization. Yeah. And like you say, it'll be like mules. It'll be like Mexican human trafficking mules for their conservative buddies because right now our transition to healthcare to Canada it's horrible for immigrants and new Canadians that are already like board certified surgeons in their country, or like Dean was talking off the air, we were talking about an Uber driver that's an astrophysicist from India or Pakistan, and he can't practice his trade here, and he's driving an Uber. Yeah. And this is happening everywhere. This happens, and this has been happening here for decades, by the way. Nursing, doctors, dentists, everything. It's because our government has made it so bloody hard to do like entrance exams here or equivalency testing and certification in our country, not just the provinces, but this is a federal problem. This is Justin's problem. Mm-hmm. And we're in a crisis. And people want to come here, and they want a viable trade in healthcare and the arts of health and science, and we're not allowing it to happen while we're drowning. I don't understand. If some guy came up to me and said, "Hey, listen, I was a doctor in Romania for fucking now I'm delivering your pizza. Listen, I've got a broken leg for 3 days. You think you can help me out while I'm sitting here eating the pizza, waiting for a fucking doctor?" I'd take his help. You know what I mean? And that's where we are. Yeah. We're in that point right now. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Hard to watch. I mean, because it's us, right? Like, it's our health. It's something that we're used to healthcare being a right. We're used to free healthcare being a right. We're used to pretty quick healthcare. Like, I've spent several hours in an emergency room like everybody else. But the stories of this old cat with the broken leg that's been in an emergency room since literally Sunday, and it's Thursday. They're compounded by other stories. A tweet thread that I saw of this guy, young dude, went into the ER for 3 days. He sat in an ER with appendicitis. If he was forced to wait one more day, his appendix would have burst and he would have died.
Wow.
And he did this huge tweet thread, and he didn't eat or drink for 3 days because he
Yep.
knew he had to have his appendix out, but there was no one around to pull his appendix out. Like nobody.
Yep.
Not one person.
I heard him being interviewed, and he was saying that all they kept feeding him was antibiotics just in case it did burst, to try and stave off the sepsis, the inevitable sepsis that comes within hours of a burst appendix. Because even if it burst, there's still nobody there to deal with it, so they just kept pumping him full of antibiotics to hope that it would keep the infection down. What a time to be alive in fucking Ontario. You know?
What a time to be alive in this country.
And all this is going on, all these pressure and stresses, and you got fucking assholes. Instead of like screaming at our province to do something about it, they're screaming about boycotting a Tim Hortons
I
kids
saw that
camp
today. What was that? I know, that Tim Hortons had to cancel a bunch of camp days for kids because the pandemic is raging and people are getting sick. Is that right?
Now, what's going on is some.
So I was totally wrong.
No, not totally. You're on the right. You're on the right bus, just the wrong route.
Okay,
and
thank you. It's a nice way to say, yeah, Dean, you fucked it up huge.
Kids are some camps in Ontario have been closing down for weeks at a time and postponing or canceling all outright and refunding people their money because their counselors, they're having outbreaks with counselors, they're having outbreaks with kids. So a block of it will get canceled, we'll say. So next week, hopefully Johnny gets to get bumped up. If not, Johnny, fuck you. You're not going to camp this year. So Tim Hortons.
There's a Johnny in Ontario called Johnny Fuck You. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's Nurse Maureen's son. And Nurse Maureen's son doesn't get to go.
Fuck you.
Yeah. So anyway, she tries to send Johnny to camp. Johnny can't go. So Tim Hortons, along with provincial guidelines for summer camps, is adhering to the vaccination status protocol and saying you must be vaccinated to come to these camps to try and stave off this problem. And this problem is at least 3 Quebec sleepaway camps temporarily shut down due to COVID-19 outbreaks. And this was posted back on the July 5th. So what does the anti-vax crowd do? Well, we're going to boycott Tim Hortons because they're segregating. It's medical segregation. It's discrimination against unvaccinated, medical discrimination. So and this morning, because yesterday was camp day. And
hey, by the way, blow me if you're one of those people. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I concur. Yeah. But they round for the boys.
Yeah, round of blowjobs from the anti-vaxxers for the fellas, please. If you're one of those people that hasn't been vaccinated and you're going to boycott Tim Hortons because they're like, hey, you can't send your kid to camp unless that child is vaccinated, and you're putting out tweets going, never going to buy one of their honey crullers again. You can blow me. You can blow all of us, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. Really toothy blowjobs, if you will.
Not a chance will Tim Hortons get a dime from me. You can segregate adults who have made their own choices, but you don't dare discriminate against my children.
That's Michelle. Michelle's Michelle's tweet. This is Brett's tweet. Brett's tweet's the best, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, and we also I'm going to show you something right after Brett's tweet. It's great.
Yeah. Read Brett's tweet first. This is good.
Okay,
this is a guy with the perspective of a fucking tree horn.
Yeah, never forget that Tim Hortons Camp Day discriminates against underprivileged children based on their medical status, you sickos. Oh. Well, Brett had lots of things to say, and some of our listeners decided to jump in on it as well. And our friend Alan Beamer asked if he was naturally stupid like this or if he has to work at it. So I've got to hand it to Alan. Thank you. But yeah, like
by the way, the answer to Alan's question is naturally that stupid. All of these people to not be vaccinated, not believe in vaccines, not believe in science, to not look into why Tim Hortons is telling people at underprivileged camps that they have to be vaccinated to attend their camp. If you don't know that, and if you can't put those two little social math things together, you're just naturally stupid. But we know that these people are naturally stupid. They've all been naturally stupid. They're the dumbest fucks on the planet. Let me just, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to just prove my point of how stupid these fucking people are. Okay. I was talking about the pandemic this morning, and the Jesus crowd came after me again. It was really brilliant. And one of the Jesus guys who had Christ is the Lord in his bio, and God's my homie, and all that other stuff, and he had the laser eyes and stuff. One of the guys
and a blue check mark too.
You had to make a Bitcoin thing out of this, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry, dude. I love doing
Yeah, he was a blue checkmark guy.
We're not all douchebags, Diener.
No, I know you're not. You're one of the good ones, and you're vaccinated, and you believe in science and math and real things, right? You don't have your head in the Jesus clouds going, "Save me, Lord, save me." It's just you're not one of those dudes.
He only believes in pretend money, not pretend saviors. It's fine.
No, he believes in real money and
I'm
gambles
kidding.
with the pretend money. That's what
I'm joking.
Anyway, so this was a tweet that got sent to me today, and it blew up. It was like first thing in the morning. This guy's like, I tweeted like, fuck, you people are idiots. Nicholas John Leonard Gorison, 1522, blue checkmark dude. He's like, would you like to face me in combat?
It's the best line I've heard on Twitter all year. Best line I've heard.
In combat. And so, like, for the last 7 hours, people are coming out of the woodwork with, like, crusade memes and pistols at dawn. And I do want to fight you in combat. And I'm like, no, you fucking idiot. Of course I'm not going to come and fight you. And then he tweets me, he's like, come to Barrie. I'm like, nobody goes to Barrie unless they're going through to Muskoka, you stupid fucking idiot. No one's going there. And he's like, what are you, afraid of me? And I'm like, no, I don't want to be around anybody. Like, I literally, you know what this has done? I don't know about you guys, but now we're in the pandemic, right? Now we're back in it. It hasn't gone anywhere. Nothing has changed. We've got Omicron BA5 or whatever it is, which is like 5 times worse than 5 times worse than 5 times worse when it comes to infecting you. Like, that's where we're at. If you follow Immigrant or Fisman, the good guys, you know exactly what's going on. But the most amazing part to me is that these people like keep coming back to that same well where it's like, you want to fight? And I'm like, holy fuck, is that where we're at now? Like, you can't back up anything that you have to say about the pandemic. So you're like, let's fight? Is that where we're at now? And, a good portion of me almost said, you know what? Let's combat. Trial by combat. Let's do that. A good portion of me was like, you know what? I kind of want to go up to Barrie and have a place to meet this guy, maybe near the cenotaph, so I can put something in his head that isn't disinformation. It's one of these, and it's one of these, and dude, I got inundated with blue checkmark guys who are like, dude, if you want me to come up there and beat that guy's ass with you, I'm happy to do it.
I asked him a question.
I'm happy to do it,
and he answered me on that thread. I asked him if he accepted. Well, right here, I said, have you accepted the Jesus into your life? And he said, yes, he has. So I was just confirming that.
Dean, you wanted to meet him at Weber's, which I thought was a great place. Because after combat, I mean, you're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And might as well
what
eat
a great
in a train car. If you're doing old-fashioned combat, pistols at dawn, you're taking the train car home.
Yeah, you can be right on Highway 11 and you can get home, grab yourself a Weber's burger. By the way, I fucking love Weber's burgers. Who doesn't love a Weber's burger? But Nick was like, hey, you want to face me in combat? Prove it. And most of me is like, I kind of do now. Like, part of me, like, I'm at that stage of the pandemic where I'm like, okay, who wants to get their ass whooped? Like, that's where I'm at. And I talk a good game, like, hey, but there's no talking with these people. Like, we're back into the myocarditis conversation. Like,
yeah, that trended today as well with the kids. Moderna was approved by Health Canada, and the number one thing tweeting right under Boycott Tim Hortons, by the way, was myocarditis. Yeah. It's like, fuck, here we go again. It's just a big circle.
Well, listen, can we just finally call a spade a spade? Like, I know there's a lot of people that, and in media, they vacillate between like, oh no, you still need to like talk to the people that don't believe in science. You still have to sell them newspapers. This is only going to get better when traditional media and every single person with their brain, with a real brain, calls these psychos out and calls them what they are and treats them like literal pieces of shit. Like, that'll be the only way it'll change.
Yeah. See, now I threw up something that was 90% of that Boycott Tim Hortons backfired on these people because they're all like this, where Full Chicken says there are many reasons to boycott Tim Hortons, which is bad service, poor labor standards, etc. But them deciding not to let unvaxxed kids in their camp because it could be dangerous for the experience and health of other kids with responsible parents is not one of them. Fucking grow up, folks. And I totally agree with that.
I have a question for you guys. So, Scotty, you wanted to say something.
First off, Dean, I don't know why you're not using this guy's combat invitation as an amazing opportunity to have him drive all over Ontario to meet you in the most random places.
Like, I'll meet you at the Big Nickel in Sudbury.
I can't. I'm okay. Fine. I'll meet you at Bear, and then you pick like the McDonald's parking lot. I'll be there at 6:30, and then you're not there, and then you're like, darn, I couldn't make it. You know what? Then I'll be here, and then you're just making this guy drive around. Come on.
One of the dudes from Peter Burgers. This is a true story. One of the guys from Peter Burgers, like right when this whole thing started, he's like, "I want to fight you." I go, "Okay, I'll meet you at the Cenotaph in Markham," and he sends me a picture from the Cenotaph in Markham because at the time we lived close to the Cenotaph in Markham. Don't live anywhere near it anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where I live as soon as we get off this podcast. Just kidding. I'm never telling anybody where I live. I'm not a fucking idiot. And the guy, like literally 2 hours later, drove from, I think, Omimi.
Oh, wow.
Or Orno or I don't know, somewhere around Peterborough's like 2 hours away. He took a picture of the Cenotaph and he sent it to him and he's like, "Where are you, bro?" And I'm like, "Holy fuck, I can't believe you went, you stupid idiot. Have a great day."
Try the fries at the corner at the chip truck. It's really good.
Yeah, there's a Husky right at the corner there. You can get yourself a protein shake there too.
Pickle in a bag.
Coffee. Yeah, pickle in a bag and a good coffee. No, dude, I thought the same thing. That's why I told him I'd meet him at Weber's because I told that guy that wanted to fight me by combat.
Yeah.
He wanted to combat me. I'm like, "I'll meet you at Weber's. Show up. Let me know when you're there. Take a picture. Send it to me." He's like, and then he sent me a note back. This is how stupid they are. He goes, "Well, why would I go there to prove that I'm there if you're not there?" And I'm like, "Well, exactly, you stupid idiot. Like that, you just figured that out, that I'm not coming to fight you at Weber's? Like, you dumb fuck."
Unreal.
Yeah, that's who these people are, dude. That's exactly who these people are. They're all the same. Every single one of them is the same. And we're back in it. Like, I haven't paid attention to the pandemic or the masking stuff. Like, I don't even think we've talked about masks, vaccines, boosters for 2-3 months, if I'm not mistaken. And it's been like a glorious break too. Like, I've really appreciated the break, not talking about what people should do, not telling them what they should do. But when they start coming with the disinformation and people are getting sick again and our emergency services are dying, I feel like it's incumbent upon us to really tear a strip off of these fucks. Like, I really, really do. And I feel like it's time to tell, like, which is why I said to Linz, can you come with some receipts about, who did what and why we're in fucking trouble, and because people need to know these things, right? And you can't argue against common sense. You can't argue against emergency rooms being closed. You can't argue against, by the way, the number is not 16,000, 20,000 cases of this a day, and we're still in the fucking pandemic. But let me ask you guys a question, kind of like a quick pivot. Do you mind if I pivot a little bit?
No,
Scotty,
please.
you okay
Go
with
ahead.
the pivot?
Yeah.
You okay? I'm just going to pivot to the left. You okay if I pivot to the left a
Thanks
little bit?
for asking.
Right? Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate it.
It's a gentleman thing to do.
Well, hello. Hello, I'm a gentleman now. I mean, yes, have I called people fuckfaces for the past 56 minutes? Sure.
But I asked
let's
permission
get
to
the
pivot.
gentlemanly portion of the podcast. Okay, 20,000 cases a day.
Yeah.
No mask mandates, right? You still walk around, do whatever. Jays are still playing. Go to the game. No big deal. Like, we're in it again. Booster eligibility has been opened up in this province. Free testing has been opened up in this province. That's one of the things I will say that this province has done a good job of this time. Is they're like, yeah, we're going to give you free testing and you can go get your boosters. We're going to open up the eligibility, all that other stuff. Are you guys going to revert? I want to start with Scotty. Are you going to revert back to masking, or are you comfortable with the 3 shots you have? And are you going to kind of play this by ear now that we're back in the heat of another wave?
Well, I don't go out that often, so I'm probably okay where I am. And I did get COVID already, so I may get another booster. Like, if it gets really bad, I'm fine getting another booster. The first few were fine. So yeah, I'd probably be okay. Like today or the other day, I went to the grocery store and I saw a bunch of people with masks. I didn't feel obligated to wear a mask. I didn't feel like I needed to. So I think I'm probably okay. But I'm also open-minded to wearing a mask if I need to. So I think I just want to see how it kind of plays out.
When you mean like, so you're kind of, because that's where I am. Like, I know I'm railing against stupidity and these dumb fucks, but I'll do that for the rest of my life.
No, but you're railing against their inability to see the other side. Like,
and
they
ability
don't
to make
see the
things
value
around them so much worse. Like, that's the thing that I fucking hate about these people. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. I think you're right on there. So yeah, I think if you're open-minded to wearing a mask, I have no problems wearing a mask. I'm fine. I went to go visit my wife's 100-year-old grandma the other day. That was a lot of fun, huh?
That's cool.
We had to get tested. We had to wear a mask. We had to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of like, oh, we still doing this, guys? But then also, okay, yeah, it's still an issue for people who are, maybe immune compromised. And my wife's grandma actually got COVID twice, even despite all of the current healthcare things. And she still rocked it. Oh yeah, she's amazing.
Wife's grandma's incredible.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at though.
Yeah. Rhino, what do you think?
I actually just had this conversation with Ashley right before we came on the show, and
interesting, isn't it? I'm glad you're fresh. Let's go.
Well, because of her job, she's an essential worker in long-term care and frontline worker, so she's eager to go out and get a fourth shot as soon as she can. Mm-hmm. And that's who they're recommending it for. Like I was listening to Isaac Bogosh today. Bogosh said the same thing, and I agreed with him because we're like-minded individuals, very well thought gentleman. He's
also went to school for 15 years and got a doctorate.
No. I read a couple things on Google. It was fine.
Attaboy, I guess.
Yeah, but no, he said like somebody like me who's in relatively shockingly good health, like against my own fucking
dude, me too. Yeah,
my own execution. Yeah, my own worst enemy. Exactly. But I'm in relatively good health, and he says, you know what? There might be more advantageous for people like us to wait until the fall, just because they're also talking about doing like a combo shot of different strains of COVID in that booster that's coming out later on that they're developing to give us more, almost like how we deal with the flu shots, right? So to give us more, because now we have so much more data, they have so many more things to pull from to create another sort of
like a super
variant
booster.
Yeah, like a booster variant, we'll call it, right, for lack of a better term, which would probably be better for guys like us because we can wait. Because if we did get COVID, that you're saying that if you got 3 doses in you right now, some of us have 4. Don't ask Dean how that happened. We can do. Our immune systems are doing well. They say in general, people like us, our immune systems are keeping up at this point. I know a guy just came back to work that I worked with today. He was back his first day back today, wearing a mask and everything, but he had COVID. He kicked his ass for like 2 or 3 days, and he's only had 2 shots. And he's an older gent, and he's doing just fine. Mm-hmm. His wife had 3. She got it as well. She's doing better now, but I think I'm good to wait unless I'm told otherwise by people that are way fucking smarter than me.
Mm-hmm. And if they tell me, listening to medical professionals, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if Isaac goes on the TV and on his Twitter next week and says, "Listen, I was wrong," because he has a tendency to do that when he gets new data, which what science is all about, and says, "Listen, we kind of made a mistake. Yes, you should go get your booster." I'd be on that portal that day booking my shot because I listen to medical professionals.
This is the thing, right? Like when we're sitting around talking about it, because I feel like we took a really nice break from talking about the aggressive portions of the pandemic and the people and all the other stuff. I still hate you, by the way, if you're one of those people that because I got a tweet from someone yesterday. They're like, "Go get your 4th booster," and I'm like, "Okay, I will." Like,
sure.
I'm not.
Thanks.
Well, sweet burn, dude. Like.
It's like, drink some water, dummy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, whatever, man. Go get your 44th booster. I'm like, well, if I have to get 44 of them, I guess I'll get 44 of them. I mean, it's not that maybe it's not a big deal. Whatever, you super vaccinated asshole. That's the guy called me a super vaccinated asshole yesterday. I'm like, thank you. Have a great day. Like, I mean, none of these people affect me at all. Like, it's just they're the dumbest fucks on the planet. But
you brown-eyed idiot.
Surprise people. Yeah. Fuck you. Go wear a shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you tie your shoes? You fucking sheep.
Whatever. Fuck. Go put on your sandals. Go make dinner, loser.
That's what I mean.
All right. I'll go make dinner.
They've run out of everything now.
Yeah.
People are just insulting everyone else's immune system now.
Yeah. And if my immune system had a conscience, it would be pissed.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all right.
This is fun.
No, I was thinking about it today because in terms of where I am, like I'm hard line on vaccines. I'm super vaccinated. I love the idea. I've had COVID. I think 3-4 months ago I had COVID. It was like I diagnosed myself like you guys
on the show
right here on the show. I'm like, fuck, I got COVID. Didn't miss a show. I've been super vaccinated, so I had a relatively easy go of it. I don't have long COVID. I'm really happy about that. I also understand what the medical professionals are saying, like the Isaac Bogoshes and the Fismans and Sharkowis and all the good cats. They're like, hey, listen, this is around, right? Like the pandemic hasn't gone anywhere. We're getting back to this somewhat normal existence where we can go out for dinner. Scotty, you can go out for dinner. You can go to a ball game. Like you're feeling pretty good about it, right? At least I am. And I know that my vaccines work because I listen to medical professionals who tell me that they've worked. I talk to doctors. I talk to epidemiologists, infectious disease experts. Before we came on the show, I had a phone call with a buddy of mine. He's like, whatever you do, don't mention my name. Infectious disease guy. And people would know him. It's none of the people we've talked to or about here on this program. And I said, so listen, I'm going to do the show. I'm going to talk about the pandemic, and I'm going to go back to wearing masks because, like, if I go to a grocery store, I'm probably not going to wear a mask. Now I am. Like yesterday, I started wearing a mask in a grocery store. I started wearing a mask when I go into gas stations. I started being careful about closed spaces. You know, I've talked to my kids about it. Hey, guys, it's up again. We're kind of back. Just be careful who you're with and be careful who you're around if you don't want. And I said to my kids, listen, you're all vaccinated. You're young. If you don't feel like wearing a mask, I totally understand that. But here are the risks. Here are the rewards. Like, let's talk about, the basis of where we're at again, because this is not going anywhere. Like, we're not going to get around the pandemic. It's not like in 3 weeks from now, they're not going to say, whew, that was the last. It's going to go for fucking years, right?
Yep.
So you have to trust the information you've been given, and you got to keep staying in touch. We don't live in that time where you could just kind of wander around, not worry about it anymore. It's almost like checking for the weather before you leave the house in the morning. And I really wanted to impress that upon people today because you kind of have to do that now when it comes to your own health. Hey, listen, where are we at? What's the deal with wastewater? Like, I read those things and everybody's pissed off because I got to do more reading. Well, yeah, it's just your public responsibility and the responsibility to your own health and your family's health.
Yeah.
Because the pandemic is still here, Scotty. Like, we're still in it, right? This is where we are.
I think it depends on how close you're going to be to people. If I'm going out for a walk around the block, probably not going to wear my mask.
Of course.
If I'm going on an airplane, you know what? Might be really close to someone. If I'm going to a ball game, might be really close to someone. So I think you got to use that common sense, just like anything else, and kind of know the situation that you're going in. And just like, having Advil if you might have a headache, you pack a mask if you might be close to people.
Yeah, it's like you say, and now you're empowering. I think we're at that point now where it's almost like the kids are walking on their own sort of mentality where, yeah, we were all stupid at the beginning. We didn't know what to do. And maybe we did seem like zombies following every instruction. Now, I think, Dean, you've got a really good point because we're not, and even Bogosh said this today, we're not going back. We're not going back to lockdowns. We're not going back to any of this. We are past that. The governments are past that. They've made it very clear that they're not intending on doing the right thing to stop this. So now it's up to you to do what is right for you and your surrounding people that you love and care about, and your neighbors. And if you give a shit about society in itself, you'll do the right thing. And for the majority of Canadians, that's what we do. We just do it without thinking now.
Well, like 84% of us are fully vaccinated in this country, or considered fully vaccinated, which is 2, maybe 3 doses. We'll go with 2. 84% of us have 2 doses, right?
Yeah.
So we're way ahead of the fucking mark and the curve worldwide. There are a few European countries that are like us that have a lot of people vaccinated, aren't making a big deal. But Canadians generally, and this is fucking why I love this country so much, sure, do we have some cancerous, bruised assholes that are trying to be real loud and employ bots and want you to not get vaccinated? Sure, they generally all live in Alberta. Sorry, Scott. But my point is that
we haven't ragged on Alberta enough without Lachlan here.
I know. I miss him too. I can't wait for him to come back. He's been tweeting us. Like he was on the thing yesterday. We had Freddie and Spenny on. Yeah. He's like, I can't believe you got Freddie and Spenny. I want to come on the show so bad. And he sent us a picture of his toenails watching TV, and I'm like, fuck. Can't wait for you to be back either, as long as you leave those toenails in BC.
Sorry,
but no, like we have to understand that there are people on the hard right who want to continue to make the world a worse place, no matter what. So fuck them. But people on the hard left, pissed me off today too.
Yes.
And it wasn't just tweets. I'm seeing so many people say, "What about us? Why don't you tell everybody to wear a mask?" Well, we're past that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to understand that. We have motored past that. And you can't look at this inception of the pandemic or this wave as if it's the same wave that we went through 2 years ago, because we're vaccinated, right? And I mean this with all due respect to everybody who is vaccinated, who is also super fucking paranoid. You can't be paranoid anymore. You got to go out. You got to live your life. These variants, although extremely virulent, aren't as bad as they were prior to vaccination, because we've told our bodies, and science is a miracle, and these vaccines are legitimately the best vaccines we have ever fucking created, bar none in the history of civilization. So listen, we're going to keep getting sick, but we're not going to die at that record rate that we were dying at prior to getting vaccinated. So you have to trust medical professionals in that capacity too, that say the same thing that Bogosh said, which is like, hey, listen, you have to go and live your life, and you have to not be as frightened. And so when you got people on the right scaring the shit out of everybody, saying this is a fucking farce and you're having your human rights taken away and go get another vaccine, fuck them, and no due respect. And the people on the hard left that are like, we need the state to tell us how we have to operate. No. We're past that. That's like,
they gave us the training wheels. Totally. It's time to take them off.
Now we have to advocate for ourselves, do we not? Like, isn't that where we're kind of all at, Scotty? Isn't that
100%.
Where I'm at?
100%. No, I think, Ryan nailed it on the head. The training wheels. They taught us how to be safe, and some of the things we didn't like. I certainly didn't like. But, if you know what to do now, it's a no-brainer. Okay, yeah, I need to be extra careful. I saw someone at the grocery store wearing gloves, going to the grocery store wearing like rubber gloves, and I thought, oh, okay, that's a little extreme, but whatever flows, whatever
Public
makes
health says that's worse,
safe.
by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Whatever makes you feel safe, though, that's my thought. If you feel safe wearing a N95 when you could do fine with just a paper doctor mask, whatever works for you. So I think we're at that point.
Mm-hmm. The gloves are unsafe because what you're not doing is you're not washing and sanitizing your hands quite as frequently as you would be if you weren't wearing gloves, and that is actually helping with contact. And that's not even just COVID. That's general hygiene, for Christ's sake. That's the one thing I loved about the last 2 years. I didn't get sick. I didn't get the flu. I didn't get cold. I didn't get sick. Well, I got a little sick with dying with blood clots, but
you had like 83 blood clots in your
lungs. Yeah, but that's not a cold. I'd rather go through that again than have a fucking man cold, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's
right.
I
hate having sore throats. I can't stand it. And I haven't had one. But you're right. And it all goes back to, again, 2 years ago when we said, flatten the curve, we're going to do this, and it didn't work. And we kept doing the same. We just kept repeating the same mistakes. But what we did do is we solidified and we drove home the point from people that we did listen to, the ones that are actually worth their salt. We learned from them how to deal with this. We would tools in our box and go through mock drills of it every time. So now that we've done it, it's just like driving a car, okay? Think about it this way. When you go to driving school, hands are 10 and 2. You're doing the speed limit constantly. Your seatbelt's on. You're all checking your mirrors every 10 seconds. And that's up until the point where you get your driver's license. When you get your driver's license, you're not doing any of that fucking shit. I was a driving instructor. I know. I'm the worst fucking aggressive piece of shit on the road there is, and I know how to do it safely. That's the point I'm trying to make. You can still operate that car without having your hands 10 and 2, without, constantly doing the speed limit, you don't have to signal every turn. As long as you're just keeping it between the fucking shoulders, you're going to be okay. And as long as you're not just driving like an asshole, you're not going to kill other people and you're not going to kill yourself. The same goes with precautions for COVID. So I just wanted to make a quick point, and I'm going to drag it back, and you can drag it right out when I'm done. Remember when all the conservatives used to yell about the economy? How's the economy doing right now, by the way, now that we've opened up? It fixed everything, right? No. Okay, just checking. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure.
Why are you asking me? Ask Scott. He's like, he's a day trader. He teaches people about the stock market.
But remember,
why are you asking me?
The only way not to put this thing into the side of the mountain, everybody, was we had to open up. That's the only thing that's going to save the economy. And what did it do? Here we are.
Oh, recession. How you doing? Nice to meet you. My name's
Just saying.
No, anyway. I think that's a great point, Ryan. You do everything you can to be as safe as possible. It doesn't mean that when you open the car door, someone isn't going to spit in your face, and you can get germs that way. You're still, there's still probability that you can get it. I mean, even if you are 4 boosters in masking, there's still an opportunity. I got COVID.
At this point, like for a lot of these people too, right? Like if you're vaccinated, generally speaking, it's real bad. It's a really bad virus, and it keeps mutating. But generally speaking, if you're vaccinated, life, right? It's just life. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Scotty.
No, that's okay. No, I think you're right on. Like we got COVID because my son went to school the week that the Alberta government removed masks from school. That was the week that we ended up getting COVID, and it was just me and my son who got it. My wife and daughter didn't get it, both fully vaccinated, and all in the same house. Walking beside each other in the kitchen. And stuff like that. So, it is still a virus that I think we're learning a lot about. And to your point, Dean, is still mutating. So I think as long as we use the training wheels, like Ryan said, to the best of our ability, that's all we can do.
Like you say, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect at it.
When you cut a path, like let's say you go to work, right? You get a new job and you go to work, and you're like, okay, I got to take this route, I got to take that route, and that's how I get to work. And over time, that route is just second nature. Well, the past, like literally 2 years, every government, every infectious disease expert, every doctor, every hospital, every university has cut that path for you and said, here we go. This is how you got to live life now. This is the new reality. This is what you got to do. And we still have psychos on the left and psychos on the right going, you know what, we don't agree. I'm like, okay, fine. Then you go don't agree over there, because everybody is super sick of your shit when it comes to safety. Speaking of safety, and I do want to bring this up because Scotty is a huge Elon Musk fan. And again, a big pivot here. You guys ready to pivot? We're going to pivot over to the left again. We're going to over to the left.
Such a gentleman asking permission to pivot.
Thank you very much. I love the good pivot. Did you hear about Elon Musk's dad? Anybody here? You hear about Elon Musk's father? No? Nobody heard about Elon's dad? Scotty, you heard about Elon's dad because today. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. Go ahead.
I heard he's a stud.
You heard he's dead?
A stud.
Oh. Yeah,
I heard he's a stud.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe this when I read this. Elon Musk's dad, 76, confirmed secret second child with his stepdaughter.
Ew. Wow. What? Ew.
Amazing. They're doing their part for the population.
Yeah, that's what he said. Elon Musk's dad, his name is Errol, finally revealed he sired a secret second love child with his glamorous stepdaughter, Jada Bizenderhoot. The Musk patriarch, 76, welcomed a baby girl with Jana, 5, back in 2019, but only confirmed the news Wednesday while saying, hey, we're only here to reproduce, so fuck that. He's just like his son. It's fucking unbelievable. Like, you know where he got it from.
Makes sense now.
Yeah,
this is culty.
The two already share a 5-year-old boy named Elliot, born in 2017. Errol clearly shares his most famous son's hearty desire to procreate, with the admission coming weeks after it was revealed Elon fathered 2 more children with an executive at his artificial intelligence company, Neuralink, weeks before his second child with ex-girlfriend Grimes was born. Errol admitted Jana's pregnancy. This is his daughter. This is his stepdaughter.
I thought that was just a category on Pornhub. I didn't think it was real life.
Stepdaughter porn? Is there stepdaughter
porn?
I think there's stepmother porn. That's a huge category, I believe.
This is
I don't know if there's stepdaughter porn. I think it's... Anyway, well, back to the story. Errol admitted Jana's
You don't know.
I don't know.
What is Pornhub?
Is there stepdaughter porn? I had no idea. I know there's stepmother porn.
I wouldn't know. I'm married.
I think it's just step family porn. I think the steps all doesn't matter. Step.
Yeah,
everybody.
This has got to be wrong in some law handbook. I mean, Errol admitted Jana's pregnancy was unplanned, said they were just banging, and told the publication they're no longer living together, citing their 41-year age gap. Quote, it's not practical.
Well, that's so he contradicts himself right there. He said the only thing we're on the earth for is to reproduce, and we didn't plan to have this baby. You fucking lying, gross, old piece of shit.
Oh, I think it's a power move. It's not practical. He says, she's 35, Errol declared. Eventually, if I'm still around, she might end up back with me. He added, any man who marries a younger woman, even if you feel very sprightly, it's going to be nice for a while, but there's a big gap, and that gap is going to show itself. The Musk family tree is complicated and growing by the day. Errol has 7 children, while Elon has fathered 10. I mean, that is unbelievable.
It doesn't fork. That's the problem. The tree just doesn't fork. It just goes straight up. The Musk pole, the family pole. That's
one thing.
fucking
I was talking
gross.
to my wife. I was talking to my wife about this, and or maybe it was my. No, I was talking to my wife about this, and the thing.
You better
He was
get
gonna
this
say his
right
other
now,
wife.
dude. Yeah.
No, I was talking to maybe it was my sister-in-law or my
Hey,
wife.
there's a chick on
mister?
Instagram. I can't remember.
It's been a busy week,
My
and
side chick.
we're talking about being a father, and the sad part is that these kids don't really have a father. Like they don't have someone going to their baseball game to cheer them on. They don't have someone there to help them with homework. Like Elon isn't going to this other lady's house to like, hey, let me help you with that. It's so sad for these kids, and I just feel for them. Like as if there aren't enough people in the world with daddy issues. Now I have all these kids who are children of Elon Musk or children of Elon Musk's dad, who now all also have daddy issues.
Yeah, absent father with father's money. What did we see? Oh, it's called the President of the United States.
Yeah. I don't understand it. Like, dude's 75, 76 years old.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's kind of gross, right?
Oh,
Can you imagine,
100%
like,
gross.
That old
and
hog.
she's like having, and that's her step. Like, if you know the family history, Elon's dad's, like Errol, that guy, his second wife had 2 kids prior to moving in with Errol, right? And Errol was this woman's stepfather at the age of 4. She was 4 when they all moved together and lived like a family. And Elon is roughly, I think he's about 10, 15 years older, about 15 years older, maybe a little bit. I think, what is Elon? He's late 40s, early 50s. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he grew up sort of with this stepsister being his sister, and his dad raising this stepsister as his daughter and Elon's sister. So in 2017, he just knocks her up. His daughter just knocks her up, like in a very very Jeffrey Epstein-y kind of way.
No kidding.
And I know she's an adult. She was 30 at the time. But then and you can understand an oops, maybe like some kind of weird degenerate oops. Like, I guess you find a 76-year-old Skizik's really hot. Good for you. And then they do it again 5 years later, and she has another kid with him 5 years later. Like, that's his daughter. Like, in the big scheme of things, you can stepdaughter, you can do Elon, you can add all kinds of color into the conversation.
Your kid
He's
is
fucking
also
his
your
daughter.
grandkid.
Yes. That's his grand.
That's his child and grandchild at the same fucking time.
So, and
I guess it makes Christmas easier.
The child, this woman's child is Elon's cousin and brother.
Yeah.
Cousin brother. If I'm doing the math correctly.
No, it'd be his
Cousin.
it'd be his stepmother and
That'll be
sister.
step brother.
Step brother and stepmother. If he's
cousin.
fucking
No, but they're not.
yeah.
How do we
because,
figure that out?
Yeah, let's figure it. Okay, so he's
Draw the tree.
I gotta write it. Yeah,
he's screwing. So
Draw the
she's
family
the
tree.
stepsister of Elon Musk,
This
right?
looks like a sword. Yeah.
Now the dad fucked the stepsister, so now that makes that the mom. That makes dad's new wife his sister. That's now stepmom and stepsister at the same time.
But they're not together.
They are together.
they
They
don't
fucked. They're together.
No, but they don't
That's
live
how that
together, so
happened.
it's like different.
Like they're not. No. But like in
For the sake of this conversation.
DNA genealogy terms, for the sake of the conversation, yeah. If let's just say they were together, I'm trying to find. This is a hard.
Yeah, but
thing to do
it
for
doesn't
me.
mean
It's
that
hard.
everyone that
No,
your dad
it's the
bangs
niece.
becomes your mom.
It would be the
Say that
niece.
again?
It would be the niece and sister, because he'd be the uncle and the.
So confused.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this. So it's like that was his sister. His sister has a baby. Let's just say my sister has a baby.
So
would
he'd be
my
the uncle
niece or nephew. Right.
That's right.
But if the sister has a baby with the dad, that's a niece brother.
Right.
It's niece brother. It's like it's brother cousin. That's what it is. It's brother cousin niece. It's a brother cousin niece combo.
Brother uncle. Brother sister uncle. And I'm still going with the stepmother thing though, and sister. He's your sister, and she's your sister and your mom now. She's your sister mom. This is so like fucking Dunnville, Ontario. It's beyond me. Yeah. This is
a show on TLC in the making.
It is. It is.
How fucking incredible is that? Like just trying to figure out the genealogy of the Musk family because the Musk dad, the Musk men, are just, It
looks like Michael J. Fox drew the tree.
Yeah. Oh my.
This is what it looks like.
Too soon.
Well, he's still alive.
He's still alive. He's not dead yet.
And you think he's had like that for 30 years or something? So I don't.
He makes fun of it on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. You're not ready. You're not ready.
I'm okay with it though. So.
Yeah, I know you are. Isn't that fucking unbelievable? I can't believe
it's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. Like that.
Well,
that
it's not disgusting if you're Elon Musk's dad. The dude's getting it. Like with a 35.
Looks like Christopher Walken. Like a melted Christopher Walken.
I don't know how she even allows him to jump up and down on her. Like old guys that are that old, they smell weird. They smell old.
Yeah, there's a hum.
Right?
There's definitely
they got
a hum
that.
coming
Yeah,
from that
you ever hang around with like a person over
like
over
Ben
70?
Gay and like mothballs.
How does that conversation start? How does that relationship start? I'm just trying to work it out, and I can't. And it's
where does that attraction begin? Like the first time they boned and got pregnant? Like how do you look at someone who was your dad for 30 years and go, I'm gonna hit that?
Let's go to Pornhub for some research.
I'm not going to Pornhub. It's family computer.
I'd hate to see
someone else's house.
History.
I can't use it. I can't do it.
I hate to see his search history.
Anyway, thanks for doing this today, boys. I think we got through a couple of fun things.
Now I need a shower. Thanks for that.
You're what? What did you say?
I need a shower.
Scotty?
I need a shower now.
Scotty said something. You said I'm.
Oh, sorry.
Did you say I'm what? What did you say?
Oh, I just said thanks for the fun and
out of here.
You guys are.
That was a lot of fun.
I can't say the word anymore. I'm not allowed to say that word on the show anymore. I was going to call you something, but I'm not allowed to say it. I'll let the audience use their imagination.
Dick? Are you going to call me a dick?
No.
Asshole.
No, it's something that would be if we were doing this podcast in the UK, it would be totally fine.
Oh, you're going to call me the C word. I get it.
Both of you.
We don't use that word here because it's not off-putting.
That's right.
I try not to use that word.
It demonetizes our show. We can't use that word anymore.
Yeah, they're coming down on it. They're coming down on the C word all over the world because we're getting really colonial right now. You guys know that, right? Like in the United States, it's totally acceptable to shoot an abortion doctor, but if you say fuck online, look out.
We're going to take away your funding.
Yeah. Yeah, you shot a doctor, abortion doctor. Good news. Yeah, that's a tick. You get a check mark for that. But we've got a clip of you saying fuck on Twitter once.
I have a really good student. You bring up shooting abortion doctors. Always a good segment. Well, I'm not going to keep going. I'm just going to. This will be a teaser. We'll bring this up on the next one of the next podcasts.
Speaking of shooting abortion doctors,
I was arrested once for somebody calling the police thinking I was an abortion sniper. If you remember when that was all going down in the 90s, somebody saw me out front of a hospital and thought I was scoping license plates, and I got a really good story about that. I'll try and find the news clips too. It was all over the news, all over
next show. We got a Friday show now. That's one of the first thing we're going to talk about is when we got popped for being an abortion sniper.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty good. I've got quite the tale.
Right on.
I was on.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Scotty McGregor, Scotty Mac.
Thanks for having me on this week, Diener. It was a blast.
Love having you on, dude.
This was a lot of fun with you.
Yeah, you too, Ryan.
Appreciate
the hang, guys. So yeah, anytime. I'll be watching.
Love it.
You around tomorrow?
I don't know. Might be.
So not anytime.
I'm around tomorrow.
Fucking liar.
All right.
I'm around tomorrow.
Well, we'll see if you're telling the truth.
All right.
Tomorrow.
Let's see. I'll meet you at Weber's for combat.
As the tweet of my lifetime. Would you like to face me in combat to prove it, Dean? Yeah, sure. Let's have a fucking trial by combat, you stupid idiot. Anyway, Scott McGregor at Scott Trades. You can find him on Twitter. Hot Wallet, the podcast, stockmarketmentor.com. Check him out. If you need to be financially literate, you want to learn about how to take care of your money, how to make your money work for you, how to invest, how to do it right, how to do it smart. Scott doesn't do it for you. He teaches you how to do it yourself, and he's one of the best in the business. And I'll tell you something, not only is he really good at what he does, he's just an incredible human being. So please give him a follow on Twitter.
Thanks.
Follow his podcast as well, the Hot Wallet podcast. When's your Mooch interview out? You still working on that?
It's out now.
Is it out now?
Saturday, yeah.
How come you haven't done a post about it? I had no idea it was on. I thought you would have done a post about the
Yeah,
Mooch.
I did a few posts. The Mooch retweeted me a bunch of times, which was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
check it out.
I meant on dude, that's nice that the Mooch retweeted you to millions of people, but what about on DeanBlundell.com?
Oh yeah, I could do that too. I could do that too.
okay.
Talk about it there.
I would
put
have
it on there.
assumed. I'm like, I would have assumed that you would have put the Mooch interview on because it's fucking fantastic. I got
know,
a chance to listen to a bunch of it.
I've just been busy, but yeah, I'll definitely post it. And you can go to www.hotwallet.ca, and you can see all of the past podcasts that I have there. You can sign up for notifications for when a new podcast drops. And I don't really have a plan because I'm kind of on holidays next week for who's coming on next. But over the next, I'll do it whenever I can. But definitely check out that Mooch one. I'll post it on deanblundell.com.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and we'll share it too. I apologize. I'll make sure that it gets out as well on all our socials as well. It was a fucking great interview. So at Scott Trades, give him a follow. Hot Wallet, the name of the podcast, wherever you get your fine podcasts. And go to hotwallet.ca, www.hotwallet.ca. Is that correct? Did I get that
That's right, sir. Thank you.
Not to be confused with hotprisonwallet.ca. Don't go to that one. It's not good.
Yeah.
Or hotstepfather.com. That's a different one.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think. Real quick. Okay. I know we're going to get back into porn real quick. Sorry. There should be. There's a whole bunch of stepmother and mature women, lady porn. Not a lot of stepfather, mature dude porn.
All right. I'm going on my Chinese
really
spy phone.
Here we go.
Pretty sure. I don't think there's. Dude, I think we need some equity in that business.
I'll use my
Old dude
my
porn.
dark web
All right.
Chinese spy phone browser here. Hang on.
Your Huawei.
My Huawei.
Huawei phone.
I'll look for
That's Ryan
Huawei.
Lindley. Yeah, do it. And we're going to figure that out tomorrow. We'll talk about old
Sounds
man
good.
porn tomorrow on this program. That'll be a lot of fun as well. Follow Ryan Lindley on Twitter at Ryan Lindley. He's a great follow. And do yourself a favor. Make sure you subscribe to his podcast as well. It's called the Sheeple Shepherd Podcast, wherever you get your fine podcasts. Thanks, guys. It was an awesome day today. Really appreciate you being here.
Good to see you, boys.
All right. Talk to you soon. There
Take
you go.
care.
Scotty, Ryan, everybody. We out. We out. And I'm seriously considering heading up to Weber's, by the way, to take on Nicholas, who wants to face me in combat. Seriously. I might. I'm feeling plucky. Have a great day, everybody. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Don't forget, you can sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. Want to thank our friends over at kivlaw.ca as well. Kivlaw.ca, if you are looking for legal representation, if you are in trouble, did you get into trouble? A lot of people get into trouble and they're like, ooh, I hope it goes away. It doesn't go away. Did you get popped for impaired? A little white-collar crime action? You need some help with civil litigation? Civil claims for wrongful arrest, real estate brokerage offenses, Security Act offenses, whatever. What do you want your life back or not? I think you do. You want to protect yourself against unfair legal practices? This guy gives a shit, and his team does too. Kivlaw Defense Lawyers. Go to kivlaw.ca. Robert knows his clients need honest answers about their situation from an experienced defense lawyer and a group of lawyers that know exactly what they're doing and understand how to fight for them. If you want a trial lawyer who cares for you and is incredibly responsive to your needs, he is our lawyer. He can be your lawyer. He is Kivlaw Defense Lawyers. Go to kivlaw.ca today. Thanks to Ed at Ed's Fine Imports for his gitch. We wear them, so can you. GITCH3 is your promo code. Go to Ed's Fine Imports today. Sign up for the newsletter. And here's the deal. Tips on how to dress, what goes well with what, daily, weekly promo codes, and of course, and you get all kinds of clothes there. I mean, unbelievable. So it's the only place I shop. 34 Heritage Jeans. Got him. He's got a whole line of Johnny Varvatos stuff in there too. Incredible. But he's also really fair. Prices are incredible. He's got huge deals, seasonal stuff now. Clothing for men and boys at edsfineimports.com. But his Gitch, man, that is the stuff. Go to deanblundell.com as well. You can check out there. And you can also kind of hustle through, and you can sign up for a newsletter, and then he can start saving 15% off everything in the store. When you sign up for Ed's newsletter, go to edsfineimports.com. Buy his Gitch, promo code Gitch3 as well. And Easy Auto Financial, they've been helping people get into vehicles for quite some time now. And they do it by making sure that you get the financing you need and not paying for that financing. What? Did you say I don't have to pay for financing, Dean? Yes, that's exactly what I said. You don't have to pay for your financing. They get it all for you. Then they send you to get the car that you want at the dealership you need. It's all turnkey. We love these people. Unbelievable group. Like super nice. Almost altruistic. I want to say they're altruistic. They're like, hey, there's a need in the market for people that have bad credit, good credit, no credit, but people that just don't want to pay for their vehicular financing. So what do? They created this incredible ecosystem where you can go and do business with them, and they take care of all your business. So go to easyautofinancial.ca. No obligation. Check them out today. That's it for us. Have a great day. Thanks to Linz. Thanks to Scotty. Thanks to you for watching and listening. We appreciate you as always. And if you want to buy us a coffee, we'd really appreciate it. If you go to deanblundell.com today on the front page of the website, you can click on a link and buy us a coffee. We're a collective of content providers powered by you. And if you feel like donating, we'd appreciate it. I'm going to put the link in the description of this podcast as soon as we're done so you can have a look at it. We do content nobody else does. We also hate paywalls. We rely on listener user support. We don't ask or receive government media grants or any subsidies. Your ongoing support is vital for us. So if you wouldn't mind buying us a coffee, donate what you can, support us in any way you can, we'd greatly appreciate it. All you have to do is go to coffee.com. That's ko-fi.com/Dean Blundell. And you can help us, and then we can continue doing this job that we love to do for you. So we appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Bye.